Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/Animal Stories for Kids. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an Alaskan Malamute named Akicha. Akicha the Alaskan Malamute was a very young Malamute that lived in the heart of Alaska, where the snow-covered mountains touch the sky and the frontier goes as far as the eye can see. She was the youngest member of a dog sled team that helped deliver food and supplies to the small towns in the northernmost parts of Alaska. It was hard to get food and supplies up to some of the smaller towns by any other vehicles, so the dog sled team was able to help all the people who lived in the hard-to-reach areas. From the day Akicha the Alaskan Malamute was born, she had carefully watched her musher and the rest of her team train tirelessly. The other dogs ran swiftly, their powerful legs cutting through the snow. As Akicha was growing up as a pup, she always admired the way the older dogs moved in perfect harmony, their breaths forming tiny clouds in the cold Alaskan air. She really wanted to be at the front, guiding the team with her strength and spirit. Whenever the musher trained Akicha, it was just the musher and her sledding down through a small track and coming back to the kennel. Every time they trained, Akicha would say to herself, "I can't wait to be part of the dog sled team." The musher would teach Akicha, the Alaskan Malamute, to look ahead and look for obstacles or objects that would block the way for the sled. When the musher would watch her train, Akicha would pull the sled through the course, but she would struggle when deciding if she should go left or right at an obstacle. Then the musher would remind her, "Okay, Akicha, look ahead and see which way is safest." She was worried that if she went left or right, it would be a bad turn, and she would end up crashing the sled. One time, the musher was training her to look ahead and decide the best path for the sled, and Akicha chose to go right, but she didn't look further ahead, and so she crashed right into a mound of snow. The musher was trying to help her look ahead so that she would be able to make the best and safest choice for the sled, but she was still so young that she had a hard time making important decisions when coming to an obstacle. But she kept on doing her best, knowing that one day, these skills will be very important when becoming part of a team. When Akicha turned 8 months old, the musher finally decided it was time for her to join the team. "Congratulations," the musher said to Akicha the Alaskan Malamute. "You're now ready to run with the others. Welcome to the team." She was so excited, but she couldn't just be put up in the front with the older dogs yet. She had to learn and train first. So she was placed at the back behind all the dogs, right in front of the musher to be safe so she can learn how all the dogs move together as a team. Akicha said to all the other dogs, "I can't believe I get to finally start training with all of you. I'll do my best to learn." The other dogs gladly welcomed Akicha the Alaskan Malamute, and they all found her to be a great teammate right at the start. As Akicha trained, she watched and learned from the older dogs closely. She learned many valuable lessons from them. One of the first things she picked up was the importance of communication. The lead dogs had a special way of barking and howling to signal the change in direction or to warn of obstacles up ahead. Akicha practiced copying their sounds and understanding that clear communication could keep the team safe and on the course. Another important lesson Akicha learned was the power of teamwork. She noticed how the dogs pulled together as one, each helping to add their strength and to move the sled smoothly over the snow. One day, she saw one of the older dogs change its speed of running and to slow down or speed up to help pull the weight of another dog that was tired so that they can all keep up together. Akicha realized that being a good leader meant looking out for everyone and doing everything to make the team work as one. Months passed by and the team grew stronger. Akicha was now more confident and capable. Though she was still in the back, she knew that her time to lead would come one day, and she was ready for whenever that day would come. A few weeks later, the musher had a big mission of getting some very much needed food and supplies to some of the towns up north. The snow was picking up, and it was impossible to reach the towns with a truck or with a plane, and it was too dangerous to take any other kind of vehicle. So, the dog sled team was called upon to help the people of the towns up north. It was a lot of food that the people had to pack on the sled. The people up north were running out of food, and it was really important that they get the food up there as fast as possible. They were all ready to go. The air was crisp. It was cold, but the musher and the dogs had an important mission to complete. The dogs were eager to give their best and to make their musher proud. But something unexpected happened. The dogs in the front were not feeling well. It seemed that they caught a small cold, and their energy was low. The musher was worried. Without strong dogs in the front, the team might struggle. The other dogs on the team were also a bit under the weather. They all could run, but they weren't feeling fully ready. The musher noticed all the dogs, except Akicha the Alaskan Malamute, were not quite able to lead very well in this journey. But the people in the towns really needed their help. So, the musher made sure the other dogs can at least make the trip there and back, and he made sure that they were good to go. And they were, but they just needed a different dog to lead in the front this time. And so the musher looked at Akicha the Alaskan Malamute. Her eyes were filled with determination and a glimmer of hope that she would be chosen to be up front. The musher knew that she had been training hard and learning from the best. And so, taking a deep breath, the musher decided to give her a chance. The musher gently moved Akicha to the front of the team. "Akicha, it's your time to shine," the musher said, voice filled with encouragement. "Lead the team and show them what you've learned." It was a big task, and this would be Akicha's first time being in the front leading. Fortunately, Akicha was not alone in the front. One of the older dogs were still up there in the front with Akicha, and the older dog said to Akicha the Alaskan Malamute, "You've got this, Akicha. I'll guide you and direct you as you use your strength and speed to lead our team up north." "Thanks," replied Akicha the Alaskan Malamute. Akicha's heart pounded with a mix of excitement and nerves. She remembered the lessons from the older dogs, and after everything was ready to go, she barked sharply, and the team took off. The journey was intense. The trail was covered in snow, and it was hard to see. The way up north was long and challenging, with steep hills and winding paths. Akicha the Alaskan Malamute kept her focus, using the barks and howls she practiced to guide the team. When they encountered an obstacle coming up, a big rocky mound, Akicha became hesitant. She was never the best at making decisions, and she was never good at these left and right decisions on the course when she was training with the musher. And now she had to decide which way to go, and whatever she chose would affect the rest of the team. She was anxious and a little worried at this moment. But the older dog in the front with Akicha noticed her hesitation and said to her, "Now slow down and look ahead and think to yourself, what is the best and what is the safest route? Now decide whether to go left or right. And most importantly, trust in your decision. We all believe in you." Akicha replied to the older dog, "I can definitely do that." It was finally Akicha the Alaskan Malamute's time to use all that she learned in the past few months. So she slowed down a bit, as the older dog recommended, and she looked ahead as she was leading. And there was a thick group of trees to the right of the big mound, and it would block their way and they would crash if they went right. And so she said as she was leading, "Let's go left." And all the dogs followed and went left. They passed the big mound and made the correct turn and missed the thick group of trees, and they continued on the snow. She communicated clearly, and the dogs responded perfectly. She adjusted her pace when she noticed some of the dogs weren't able to run fast enough, just like she learned from the older dogs during their training. The wind picked up, blowing snow into their eyes and making it hard to see. Akicha remembered how teamwork had always been their strength. She kept on barking, encouraging, and urging the team to keep going. The dogs pulled harder, their legs pumping with energy, as they ran through the snowy landscape. Then, as she was leading, the other dogs began to trust her as a lead dog. They felt comfortable with her, and they all moved through the snow gracefully. And they were finally able to reach the towns to deliver all the important food and supplies to the people. The mushers shouted to Akicha as they got closer to the first town. "You did it, Akicha! Good girl!" "I did it," said Akicha. "I led our team through the snow, and now all these people can get food." All the other dogs congratulated Akicha the Alaskan Malamute as the dogs and the musher got into town and started unpacking all the food and supplies. The people in the towns were so grateful that even though the dogs weren't all feeling the best, they were still able to make it out to help them. That night, as the northern lights danced across the sky, Akicha lied by the campfire, surrounded by her teammates. They were all now feeling a little better, and it really helped them because Akicha was able to lead so that they wouldn't have to use too much of their energy on the journey. And Akicha thanked the older lead dog that was up in the front with her for teaching her that whenever there is an obstacle in the way, you just need to slow down, look ahead, watch for the best and safest route, and trust in your decision. And the Alaskan Malamute lived happily ever after. The end. The Alaskan Malamute is a large breed of dog that was originally bred in Alaska to haul heavy freight using its strength and endurance. It's very similar to Husky and Spitz dogs, as well as other dogs like the Siberian Husky and Samoyed that are common in dog sledding. The Alaskan Malamute are known to be originally bred by the Malamute Inupiaq people who live in Alaska. Alaskan Malamutes have a close genetic relationship with the Siberian Husky and Alaskan Huskies, or Huskies from Alaska. Alaskan Malamutes are large and powerful dogs that have thick fur to keep them warm in cold weather, and they're very friendly and love being around people. Alaskan Malamutes are one of the oldest dog breeds, and their fur can be a mixture of colors from gray, black, white, and even some red. Alaskan Malamutes have fluffy tails that curl over their backs, and they have brown eyes, and their face kind of looks like a wolf, and they have big, strong paws to help them walk and run in the snow. Alaskan Malamutes have pointy triangular ears with black or brown noses that can turn pink in cold weather. Alaskan Malamutes not only are large, but they're strong, which make them perfect for pulling heavy sleds. Alaskan Malamutes love to run around, and they can learn a lot of tricks, love being social, and being with their families. Alaskan Malamutes also are known to be habitual diggers, which means they can't help but dig holes. Alaskan Malamutes were originally used to pull sleds in the snow, and they work very well in teams and can follow commands as well. The Alaskan Malamute is named after the Malamute people, an Inuit tribe in Alaska. They were bred by the Malamute people to haul heavy freight and get to places where it's harder to get to in the snow and harsh weather. Alaskan Malamutes played a key role during the Klondike Gold Rush and helped miners transport and travel through hard, snowy terrain. Have you seen a real-life Alaskan Malamute before? If you have, where did you see it? If you want to write to us, ask your parent to email us at animalstoriesforkids@gmail.com and tell us what you think of our stories. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/animalstoriesforkids. Until next time, bye!